Hi, my third grade friends, it's Mrs. Rio. I have a story for you today. So the next few videos that I'm going to, or lessons videos that I'm going to do with you guys, we're going to be talking about the human body. One of the things that you've been, are hopefully going to learn more about in third grade between me and your other teachers are some things about the human body: skeletons, muscles, nerves, all the internal organs and fun things. But I thought it would be fun to start it off with just a silly story. So my story for you today is called Cinderella Skeleton. So there she is in all her bony glory. So this is a retelling of a Cinderella story with skeletons. It also is a rhyming story, but it has a really interesting pattern. So we're going to see, I want you to listen as I'm reading to you and see if you can find the pattern. It's not every line, every two lines rhyme, every two lines, every two lines, every two lines through the whole thing. We'll go back and visit it afterwards, but see if you can figure it out before we get there. So I'm going to share my screen with our story. The pictures in here are great. There is some glare from the camera, and so we'll try to make that be as little as possible. I'll hold it up sometimes because right now you can't even see her skull because of the blob. She has a dandelion growing out of her head. Her gown is made of spider webs. It's pretty awesome. All right, here we go. Cinderella Skeleton. Spider webs all over. Cinderella Skeleton dwelt in boneyard acres near the wood. Third mausoleum on the right. Decayed, decrepit, what a fright. On the door a withered wreath invited guests to rest in peace. It was the pride of the neighborhood. Cinderella Skeleton was everything a ghoul should be. Her build was long and lean and lank. Her dinkish hair hung down in hanks. Her nails were yellow. Her teeth were green. The ghastliest haunt you've ever seen. Foulest in the land was she. Cinderella Skeleton's stepsisters treated her with scorn. Gristleen was small and mean, and firmly packed with spite and spleen. Tall bony Jane, a scatterbrain, was just as vile and twice as vain. They worked Cinderella from dusk till morn. Cinderella Skeleton, it seemed her tasks were never done. She hung up cobwebs every place, arranged dead flowers in a vase, littered the floor with dust and leaves, fed the bats beneath the eaves. She had no time for rest or fun. So she's down over here in the corner. Her stepmom and her two stepsisters following the Cinderella story. Cinderella Skeleton's stepsisters dressed in fancy clothes, but she had only hand-me-downs, the others torn and tattered gowns. Her shoes had worn out tops and soles. In fact, they were so full of holes, they showed off all her bony toes. Cinderella Skeleton asked for help with household chores, but stepmother Screech began to shout, "You're lucky I don't throw you out. My girls are gems, you're common clay. How dare you even think that they should strew the windows or strew the floors?" That was streak the windows or strew the floors. Cinderella Skeleton. More disappointment lay ahead. Prince Charnel summoned one and all to his frightfully famous Halloween ball. When Cinderella begged to go, her stepmother sneered and told her, "No, you'll stay at home and work instead." Cinderella Skeleton watched the others leave in a hearse, Screech in mournful bombazine, her girls in mildew green sateen. Then Cinderella made this vow: get to the prince's ball somehow. I'm taking action for better or worse. Cinderella Skeleton. Off she marched without delay to the good witch in the wood beyond, who cast kind spells with a generous wand. The witch heard Cinderella's plea, then nodded, saying, "Bring to me some things I need, and right away." Cinderella Skeleton located what the witch required: a jack-o'-lantern, fiery-eyed, 6 wraps a trap held locked inside, 2 bats asleep and wings wrapped tight, a cat as black as moonless night, exactly as the witch desired. Cinderella Skeleton saw witch touch wand, tip-tap to all. The pumpkin turned to funeral wagon, the rats to nightmares, part horses, part dragon, the bats to footmen at the ready, the cat to driver holding steady, the steeds who'd speed her to the ball. Cinderella Skeleton, the witch exclaimed, "You need new clothes." Her wand flashed magic to replace Cinderella's rags with a gown of lace, trimmed in silky ribbons and bows, while each worn shoe that showed her toes became a slipper with a satin rose. Cinderella Skeleton was eager to be on her way, but the good witch said, "Before you go, there's one important thing to know. If you fail to you must return before the morning. If you fail to heed my warning, your joy will fade at the break of day." Let me see those cute fat bats in their suits. Cinderella Skeleton reached the ball and caused a stir. The guests all turned to stare at where she stood at the top of the palace stair. As she swept down, she heard the buzz of everyone wondering who she was. Then Prince Charmel bowed to her. Cinderella Skeleton heard Charmel say, "Your beauty burns like bonfires ablaze at night. Your brightness fills me with delight. Dance with me, lady, I implore." She smiled. He led her to the floor, where they waltzed with graceful dips and turns. Cinderella Skeleton, gazing into Charmel's eyes, was so in love she was unaware of each hateful murmur and baleful glare that Screech, Bony Jane, and Grisline aimed at the lovers' tender scene. She danced till dawn first lit the skies. Cinderella Skeleton recalled too late the witch's warning. She broke from Charmel's dear embrace and hurried to escape the place. Charmel cried, "You're my answered prayer!" But Cinderella fled down the stair, distressed how near it was to morning. Cinderella Skeleton, her haste, as haste will, brought mishap. As she ran for her waiting carriage, pursuing Prince, shouting offers of marriage, she stumbled once, giving Charmel time to grab her foot and cry, "You're mine!" Then off her foot came with a snap. See it laying right there on the stairs. Just a stump right here. Cinderella Skeleton, ignoring the thump of her footless stump, reached her coach and cried, "Away! I must be home by break of day." They raced pell-mell past the palace gate. The prince kept pleading, "Lady, wait!" In his hand, a foot. In his throat, a lump. Cinderella Skeleton, through near dawn her nightmares sped, but morning caught them in mid-flight. Coach shrank to pumpkin in the light. Cat, rats, and bats skitter-flittered away. Ragged and limping, she faced the day, her heart still full, though the magic had fled. Cinderella Skeleton, her life grew day by day more grim. Her family worked her without rest. They knew Prince Charmel's mystery guest. She drudged, but halfway through some chore, she dreamed she was on a dancing floor, as Charmel asked her to waltz with him. Cinderella Skeleton, her image filled the prince's mind. His days and nights turned to a blur, whirling round memories of her. So lovelorn Charmel vowed, "I'll start a search for the one who stole my heart. She must be somewhere I can find." Cinderella Skeleton, until I find you, I will not rest, vowed Charnel, who traveled every place with her slippered foot in a velvet case. But no one, Duchess Milkmaid Crone, could match foot bone to ankle bone. Each snapped a foot off for the test. Cinderella Skeleton, locked up when Charnel came to call. Screech pulled her girl's feet off, 1, 2, saying, wire or glue, you're good as new. Surely it's worth the slight distress for a chance to be a true princess. Now hurry, the prince is in the hall. Cinderella Skeleton picked the lock with a longish pin. She heard Charnel's voice, his gentle tones, drowned by her stepsister's wails and moans. Bony Jane's ankle was too large and thick, and Gristline's thin as a weathered stick. And Cinderella came limping in. Cinderella Skeleton, while everybody stared wide-eyed, she bowed to Charnel with this request. Please let me take your marriage test. Her foot bones snapped on and held fast. Charnel shouted, a match at last! Here is my promised princess bride. Cinderella Skeleton, the rarest gem the world has seen, your gleaming skull and burnished bones, your teeth like polished kidney stones, your dampish silks and dankish hair, there's nothing like you anywhere. You make each day a Halloween. Cinderella Skeleton soon was married to her prince, and they stayed happy ever after, their kingdom filled with love and laughter. Screech, Gristline, and Bony Jane just shriveled with envy and shrank to dust, and no one's seen or missed them since. And there they may be in flower form, or weed form, as that is going to be. All right, my friends, so did you hear the rhyming scheme in the story? Each of the parts of the story started with the word Cinderella Skeleton. And then if we're looking for the rhyming words at the end, we have wood, right, fright, wreath, peace, and hood. So wood, the first line, the first long line after her name, rhymes with the last line in each stanza, and then right and fright rhyme, wreath and peace rhyme-ish. Here we have Cinderella Skeleton. B rhymes with she, and then we have lank, hank, green scene. Cinderella Skeleton, scorn, mourn, mean, spleen, brain, vein. So it's kind of an A, B, B, C, C, A kind of pattern, unless we count Cinderella Skeleton as the A, and then it's an A, B, C, C, D, D, B pattern. So we have Cinderella Skeleton, done, fun, place, vase, leaves, eaves. And the whole book continues on in the same pattern. This is one of our Gale school books from the library. So when we get back to school, at whatever point that is, and you still remember that really funny book, kind of creepy and scary and Halloween-y kind of book that Mrs. Real read to you, you may check it out of the library if you'd like. So that was our fun way to start. We're going to be talking about bones and muscles and nerves and internal organs and kind of how they all layer together on your body. So I will be seeing you again soon with some of those videos, along with a few books to help us. Nonfiction this time instead of fiction. See you next time, guys. Bye.